After Hurricane Laura, I volunteered to help with welfare checks in the outskirts of Lake Charles. We were given a list of addresses where power had been out for days, and no one had heard from the residents. Most people had evacuated. Some hadn't. There was this one house, blue paint peeling, wind-split shutters, isolated, surrounded by toppled pines. The front yard looked like it had been frozen in time. A tricycle on its side, a dog leash still tied to a porch rail. The kind of scene where you can feel something isn't right before you even step inside. We knocked. No answer. Standard protocol said check the perimeter, then enter. Back door was wide open, just barely swaying in the wind. The smell hit first, like meat left out too long, mixed with mildew and something sharp, like metal. We stepped inside. It was dead quiet. No humming appliances, no creaking floors, just that heavy, wet silence. The furniture was waterlogged. Photographs had melted into one another on the walls. The whole place was sagging like it was tired. We cleared the bottom floor, but there were signs someone had been there recently. Half a can of beans on the counter, spoon still inside. Footprints in the muddy tile, leading to the attic ladder. That's when I felt it. Dread. Not nerves, not unease. Dread. Like something upstairs was already aware of us. My partner Daryl climbed up first. I followed. The drive opened to several feet of snow. The attic was dark, but it wasn't empty. In the far corner, huddled in the insulation and broken boxes, was a woman, naked, filthy, eyes wide and unblinking. She didn't look at us. She looked through us. We tried talking to her. No response. Then we noticed the walls. Every inch was covered in writing, scratched into the wood with fingernails, pencils, whatever she could find. Most of it didn't make sense. Words repeated over and over. Prayers, names, symbols. But one sentence stood out, written again and again. He said I could stay if I didn't speak. Over and over, hundreds of times. He started humming. A tune like a lullaby, but off, just slightly wrong. Daryl called for backup, said we had a possible survivor, in shock. But as we waited, she turned to look at me. That's when I saw her smile. Not relief, not fear. A knowing smile, like she wasn't the one who was trapped in the attic. We were. Then came the whisper. We both heard it. A voice, soft and close, right behind us, breathing into our ears. You broke the rule. Daryl nearly fell off the ladder trying to get out. I followed. By the time help arrived, the woman was gone. We checked the attic. Nothing. Not even the writing was there anymore. Just bare wood and insulation. To this day, I don't know who she was or what she was. But sometimes at night, I hear that same lullaby, and I remember her eyes, empty, like something else was wearing her face. After Hurricane Ivan tore through the Gulf Coast, cleanup crews were stretched thin. FEMA sent contractors, volunteers, and whatever help they could find. That's how I met Travis, another guy with a chainsaw, a pickup, and dead eyes. We were assigned to help clear out a stretch of houses that backed up to a bayou just outside Pensacola. The neighborhood had been swallowed whole. Mud, mold, and silence. No cell service. No power. Just the buzzing of flies and distant generators. There was this one house on the edge of the waterline, barely holding together. You could smell it before you saw it. Wet rot, sewage, and something else. Something older. The foundation was tilted, and the front door had been warped shut by the storm. We had to break it open with a crowbar. Inside, the floor was covered in black sludge. Not just water damage. This was thick, like oil. Every step squished and popped under our boots. The walls were covered in strange streaks. Long, vertical lines, like something with claws had tried to climb out. We figured we'd do a quick sweep, tag it, and move on. Then Travis found the basement door. It shouldn't have had a basement. Florida homes don't, not usually. But this one did, and it had water in it. A lot. The stairs led straight into it. maybe 4 feet deep and black as pitch. Travis wanted to check it out, said if we didn't, someone else would have to. I said, screw that. I wasn't going swimming in hurricane stew. He just smirked, clicked on his flashlight, and waded in. I stayed at the top of the stairs. Not 2 minutes later, his light started to flicker. Then I heard him breathing hard, sloshing around, then silence. "Travis?" I called. Then came the splash. Not a little one, a huge one, like something the size of a bear had dropped into the water. I ran down 2 steps and saw his flashlight floating. That's it. No bubbles, no scream, just gone. I backed out, slammed the door shut, and spray painted the biggest X I could on that house. I told the team he slipped, the basement was unstable, that it collapsed. They never recovered his body. The weird thing is, a week later, after another rainstorm, I drove past that neighborhood on a whim. Every house was boarded up. Except that one. The door was wide open, and there were wet footprints, human ones, leading out from the basement, across the lawn, and straight into the... Travis never swam. He hated the water. But something in that house? It didn't stay drowned. I have a medical background, along with a certification I rarely use, though for some reason I keep paying to renew it. After Katrina, I volunteered almost immediately. I thought I'd be helping survivors, wounds, trauma care, maybe logistics. I was wrong. Once the waters began to recede, a few of us were assigned to body recovery. If you've ever had to retrieve a corpse that's been submerged in heat and floodwater for days, sometimes weeks, you know the smell. It's like any other decomposing carcass, but sweeter, heavier. It clings to your sinuses. The only way to keep from puking is slathering Vicks under and around your nose. Even that doesn't block at all, just dulls the edge. We went house to house, wading through the wreckage in rubber boots, looking for the dead. Many had been washed away, some stayed behind. If we found one, we marked the house with a huge spray-painted X. I got paired with a guy, let's call him Jay. He was quiet, dependable, didn't puke, and understood the job. One day, we rolled up to this rundown shack in a rough part of New Orleans. As soon as we stepped onto the porch, a cold chill hit me. Deep and wrong. This wasn't just maybe there's a body wrong. This was something else. Some parts of New Orleans have a vibe, a weight. And if you know the history, you know there's voodoo in the bones of this city. I don't mess with that. But we had a job. Inside it smelled like death, of course, but also wet earth and mold, the kind that seeps into your skin. Jay turned to me, white as a ghost. He felt it too. There were bones hanging from the ceiling, long, thin, I'd bet my license they were cats. Beads, carvings, symbols etched into the bare wood. The place was wrong in every possible way. We moved toward what used to be the kitchen. And that's when we saw her. An old woman, what was left of her, chained by the wrists to a beam. Her insides had spilled out onto the floor, but her face, God, her face, she was smiling. A wide, rotting, half-toothed grin like she was happy to see us. Her eyes were wide open, staring straight into mine. I swear to you, it looked like she was alive. Then we heard it. The most unnatural, blood-freezing cackle I've ever heard. It wasn't an echo. It wasn't an animal. It was her. My body went ice cold, and then pure adrenaline took over. Jay and I bolted. No hesitation, no questions. We painted the X and ran like hell to the next house. That night, back at the hotel, we finally talked about it. Both of us heard the laugh. but we said it must have been the wind. Had to be. Right? To this day, I don't know what she was, what happened in that house. But I still dream about that smile, and I still pity the poor souls who had to go in there and take her out.